Today, I'm so excited to be interviewing Alexandra Chauran. Alexandra, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and share all of your wisdom and knowledge with everyone who's watching. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started working with crystals?
Sure. Well, I'm mainly started working with crystals personally with myself and my family. I'm a British traditional Wiccan, so I practice witchcraft. It's a big part of who I am. And crystals became a part of my spiritual practice first. When I was a teenager and going off to college, I started work as a psychic and found out that crystal ball gazing or crystal ball reading was a really wonderful way to interact with my clients and to find new meaning from the crystals. And so that's really where I became a bit of an expert on it, because I started with my first book, Crystal Ball Reading for Beginners, and jumped off from there.
And it's such a phenomenal book for people who aren't familiar with it because it's probably the most in-depth thing that I've ever read on scrying with a crystal ball. It's like there's just nothing out there that kind of goes into the detail about it. So if crystal divination is kind of your expertise or your specialty with crystal healing, how did that kind of develop and progress throughout the years? That like obviously it was something that you were incorporating into your professional life. What would you say that you've taken away from that experience?
Well, the way it sort of developed is that crystal ball reading is just a scrying technique. Scrying encompasses all of those divination techniques where you're gazing into, for example, a bowl of water or a crystal or even a candle flame, and you're making meaning from the symbols that you see there. And so my crystal ball reading practice sort of evolved from earlier methods of scrying. When I was a kid, didn't have access to expensive crystals. I began with scrying just in bowls of water or, by moonlight. And my mother actually gave me my first crystal ball, and she gave me this one as well later on. Yeah. And so, really, I think what I've gained from it so strongly is that it's definitely still the most powerful tool of all of the divination tools that I've used for spirit communication with clients. I find that clients very much connect with the crystal. They connect with the idea of the crystal. It's intuitively meaningful to them. And it also allows for so much more freedom of intuition. If you're using a tool such as tarot cards or runes, there are specific meanings. There's not guy named David with red hair card, right? So you have to use, you're sort of boxed in a little bit, and those who are very masterful with the tarot are able to interact with their intuition and with the cards. The crystals call to us on a very natural, nourishing level as people. We all love the shiny things. And so I believe that they not only help my divination students learn to access their divination and their intuition better, but it also allows for more freedom within the reading for getting more detail.
And do you think that's just because of the amplifying ability of the crystal, or do you think it just is more of like a blank canvas for someone to explore their own intuition? What is it about that medium that you think works so well for people?
I think both. I believe that, there's some inherent properties that are definitely enhanced with the crystals, especially the different forms of crystals. They each have their own strengths. That said, all divination tools are just tools, and it's the person themselves that has the power and the ability. And so I believe that the crystal balls and crystals in general are a wonderful way for people to understand the nature of the tool. I think that with some other tools, people get caught up, oh, I don't have my tarot cards. There's no possible way I can do psychic work tonight. Whereas with crystals, it's more of a stepping stone, to make a pun, and people can understand, oh, I can use scrying in any medium that I need to, and I can get creative with crystals. I use amethyst one day, use quartz another, and it allows for that freedom and that learning ability.
I love that. So your path with crystals is a little bit non-traditional, right? You're not like a crystal healer. You're using crystals for divination. What has your experience with that taught you about crystal energy, in either working with your clients or in your own self-healing?
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because right now I'm actually in the middle of cancer treatment. I just finished chemotherapy and I am having surgery a week from today. So I'm definitely using traditional Western medicine. But in addition to that, I believe that crystals can be healing in many ways because, of course, even with Western medicine, the surgeon is going to cut me. It's me that's going to be doing the healing, right? And even with chemotherapy, it's me that's doing the healing. And so any tool that I can use to help enhance my ability to heal is very important. And I think part of that, since I am a divination professional, a lot of my interaction with healing is information based. I want to know what's wrong and this, that, and the other thing. And so I often use crystals for divination to try to find out that information. But I've also found that they hold such power on their own. I think I'll share with you, I have sort of this pink bag, breast cancer awareness, that I bring with me to the hospital every time I go. And it's filled with little magical trinkets and things. And some of them are definitely crystals. There's my mother found some stones with quartz in them that she found meaningful and decided to give to me. Friends just were drawn to crystals as a gift to give to me. This is some amber that one of my best friends gave me, and even goldstone, which is synthetic, but even a synthetic goldstone becomes more meaningful when it's given to me by a friend for the purpose and intention of healing. So I don't know if that answers your question or if I just started rambling.
No, it really does. And you know what I find so wonderful about what you just shared is that you talked about the knowledge and information being important to you and integrating, traditional allopathic Western medicine with energy medicine. And I'm very much the same way. Like if there's something physical that's going on, I want to know about it. And, that might be a little bit through research, might be more logical. But then there's that intuitive aspect of it too, where you want to explore, maybe through divination, some of these different things that are happening in your life. Because I think once you have an idea of maybe the path that lies ahead, you can better navigate that. And then if you have the crystals there to support you energetically, once you have that kind of confirmation from your own intuitive guidance, then that's when really big change can happen.
Absolutely. And I've worked with crystals in wellness centers as part of an integrative team too. I believe that divination and crystal healing can be a complementary therapy that can be used with Western medicine and everything else. Because I always warn clients, I'm definitely not qualified to diagnose or treat any disease, but people come to me for that sort of information in addition to working with doctors and other diagnostic professionals, and I think that's perfectly healthy.
What's the thing that you enjoy the most about working with crystals for divination? What is it about it that brings you joy, that makes you want to do it?
I think a number of things. Firstly is just, like I said, people are just drawn to crystals. We always have been, we always will be. There's something about it, even as a small child, clutching your precious treasures that you find that are little quartz crystals. I have small children and I give them crystals. They love them. There's something special about crystals, and I find that little gleeful little kid joy whenever I use them. And secondly, just to reiterate how amazing it is, for example, with crystal ball reading, to actually be able to see something that's so meaningful, like working with clients and describing their childhood home, and the scenery and the objects within the house, and having them just be so happy with that confirmation and being able to share and connect with them in that way is just so much more meaningful to me than perhaps, you know, other methods where I might be feel like I'm not just looking straight through a lens into their life. So it's just a very direct means of divination and of really interacting with our natural world.
And like you said, that kind of concrete information, that confirmation for the client, that feeling that they get, I'm sure really goes a long way in something like divination, where people can sometimes even be a little bit skeptical. And, you know, have you ever encountered that with either your readings or just even the use of crystals for divination to begin with? People who are maybe skeptical or unsure, and how do you kind of overcome that?
Of course. I mean, I think people should be skeptical. Doubt is a very healthy thing. I think that through doubt and searching for meaning, you're either going to find something even better, or you're going to come home to something that you believed in before stronger than ever. And yeah, there is that sort of confirmation that's neat. You know, there's this funny story that I had with a client who got scared with a crystal, because I use this little quartz crystal skull for spirit communication a lot. And at one point when I was using it for spirit communication with a client, a candle actually sort of exploded right in front of us, and like 3 little balls of flame flew, and I had to run for the fire extinguisher. So I now always have a fire extinguisher nearby when I'm doing spirit communication with this guy. And boy, scared the stuffing out of that client, and she actually ran away. But later she came back and was really happy with that sort of confirmation, even if it was a little bit of a foible there. So I think there's definitely amazing, powerful stuff that can happen with crystals that I haven't had happen with some other tools of mine.
And after all of your years of experience, and all the amazing books that you've written and everything else, are there any little tips or advice that you can kind of glean from that experience that you would share with someone who's looking to incorporate crystals into their own practice, whether that's maybe as a psychic or medium, or maybe just someone who wants to use this tool for their own personal or self-exploration?
I really would love to see a renaissance of using crystal spheres for healing and divination, because, you know, it's so much in popular culture. I think people get the wrong idea. You know, they imagine the crystal ball, you know, lighting up and seeing pictures in there like a TV screen. And I think that that's actually intimidating to a lot of people who really, truly believe in this stuff already, because they say, oh, that's just too much to hope for, right? And that's why when I wrote my first book, I wanted to tell people, you know, if you can see shapes and clouds in the sky, then you could do crystal ball gazing and successfully work with the crystal ball to, you know, explore healing or love or career or whatever you want. And so I think that's what I really want to impart to people, is just reclaim that childlike wonder and joy through crystals.
Oh, it's almost like a way to combine imagination with intuition in a way.
Absolutely. I mean, we create our own destinies, so of course it's like a direct way to manifest.
And Alexandra, can you tell us about any projects or new books or anything that you have going on, and also where people can find more about you and find you online?
Sure. You can check me out at seepsychic.com. That's SEE psychic.com. And if you want to see all the books that I've written, that's at seepsychic.com/books. And for anybody who wants to know, that's the crystal ball reading for beginners that I was referencing. And I do have a lot of book projects in the works. This is my latest book to be released. It's Compassion is the Key to Everything. And I have another book that your viewers would be especially interested in that's coming out next, and that is Runes for Beginners. Runes are divination tools that are symbols that people can use for healing and also for divination. And I do have some information on healing in there. And you can make rune sets out of whatever kinds of crystals that you want. And so I'm really excited about that book coming out, because I think that people will find that as another great way to use crystals and stones for healing and divination.
Excellent. I so appreciate you taking the time to share with all of us today. I'm sure everyone who's watching got some great tips out of this interview. So thank you just for taking the time and speaking with me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for chatting with me.
Thanks so much to all of you out there watching, and we'll see you soon. Crystal blessings.